Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This is going to be potential new favorite authors. I will leave a link to my favorite authors in the iCard and the description, as I literally just filmed that seconds before this. So when I say potentially new favorite author, I mean an author that could rise to the rank of favorites. And why they aren't on the favorite quite yet is because, for example, I've only read one of their series and they have multiple series that are different type of books, or they only have one book out, but from that one book it was amazing. So let's start off with Amanda Foody, who is the author of the Shadow Yin series, the Daughter of the Burning City, and Wild Lore, right? That's what it's called? Yeah, Wild Lore. So why I say that Amanda Foody isn't a new favorite author is because I've only read the Shadow Yin series, which is a like a YA kind of crime-ish fantasy, but she's also wrote kind of a circus YA and a adventure middle grade, and then is also co-writing a kind of dark fantasy, like I think with Christine Lynn Herman, and that doesn't come out until like November. But I don't want to give her the title of favorite yet. I kind of sometimes I'm like, she's a favorite author because I do think she will be, but I want to read at least either The Daughter of the Burning City or Wild Lore, which I cannot remember off the top of my head what the actual title is. Wild Lore is just the like title, like the series title. But I love these. This was one of the books that got me into reading, I would have to say, as in I think it was the first high fantasy I ever read. If I'm thinking correctly, it was the first high fantasy I ever read. So yeah, like it just blew me off my feet. I've read these first two twice, and then I've read Queen of Wolves, which is the third book in this series, once. And I've loved them so much, so Amanda Foody might be on my favorite authors after reading another one of her books. Next we have Carol Beth Anderson, who is the author of the Magic Eaters trilogy, which is this series. This is book 1, The Frost Eater. She's also wrote the Sunblessed trilogy, which I cannot remember off the top of my head. Oh, I have bookmarks slipping out. She is currently writing a fairy fantasy romance and has written in 2 different anthologies, and has written a non-fiction kind of author help book, which I do plan on reading that very soon, as I'm soon going to be in the process of that. But I loved the Magic Eaters trilogy. Fun fact, The Frost Eater was the first ever ARC I ever received, to the point I loved it so much that I bought the book, and I'm dying to buy the next 2, but I just don't have the money at the moment. I'm not working currently. But why Carol is on this list and not a favorite is because I've only read the one series, therefore I only know the one way that she writes. No, correction, she's also the author of The Seer Sister, which is a prequel full-length novel to the Magic Eater series. I totally forgot that's coming out in like tomorrow. Tomorrow I think that comes out. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. And I've also read that. But why? Okay. As I said in my favorites, like my favorite author video, is a lot of the times a favorite author is not only for the quality of their work, but the quality of human that they are. And literally, for so much of the information about my book, including like for my personal writing about marketing and all of that, has come from like Carol Beth Anderson. On TikTok, she's constantly making content about like when you should put up a pre-order link, or where are good places to find book covers, or things like that. The bookmarks keep on slipping out. But just her on social media is she's so amazing, and like pretty much, like, anytime you respond to one of her tweets, she'll reply back something nice. Or, like, I remember for when her fairy book that comes out in December, I believe the release date is, when I shared the cover, like, I retweeted the cover and said something nice. She was just like, I'm so excited, like, so happy. She was always just so excited, and, like, things, like, I don't know, you get what I'm saying, is, like, she interacts with the readers so much. It is so insane, and, like, I feel like I've gotten so much advice about publishing from her that it's insane. Like, now these next two authors are authors that I've only read one of their books, and that is because they only have one book release. And the first one is The Lost Prince of Kadaira by Stephanie Ann. And this is currently her only book released, although I have beta read the first 15 chapters of her newest release, which comes out on July 28th, I believe, which is The Haunting Life of Huntley Parish, and I love that. So if I love this book, I give this a 4-star, but I think upon a reread it might be higher. I feel like she's a new favorite author. I won't say that for certain until I fully read The Haunting Life of Huntley Parish. But for example, again, this is another case of such an amazing person, such an amazing author. I am actually an influencer for her team on Instagram, but that is not me being biased. Just because, for example, I got sent this book, and it is literally one of my few books that are personalized. Like, literally it says, "Hope, thank you for being on this new adventure with me, XOXO," and then S. Ann, which is her signature. But, like, she's such an amazing person. Her writing is amazing, and I'm so excited to read The Haunting Life of Huntley Parish. I think the arcs come out next week, maybe? Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I feel like she could be a new favorite author, not only for writing, but just for personality and how great she is as a person. The next one is one that I'm very skeptical of putting on this list, just because, again, I've only read one of their books, but I feel like they are a new favorite, and that is Louise Willingham, who is the author of Not Quite Out. So this is, like, Lou. If I call her Lou, it's because that's what she goes by on Twitter, and that's what I kind of know her as, because I saw that. So if I call her Lou, that's what I call her. So Lou, I'm just gonna go with that. First of all, this book was great. This is one book that I did an entire review of this book, but I saw myself in this character so much, and in the writing, I was like, why is this me, but just in male form? Because in this book, I'm not going into what this book is about, but essentially, like, the main character of Will is 100% me, of being scared to come out and all that, and I almost feel like it's part of my experience in life is in this book, of the scaredness to come out to your family and friends. Excuse me. If you hear any background noise, it is the neighbors are moving, so that's that. But then I did also read Lou's work in progress, Run for Cover. I read the first 5 chapters, I think. It was about 50 pages, and literally I couldn't stop thinking about those characters for a good week after I read it, and I'm still just kind of like, oh my gosh, that was great. I do plan on picking up pretty much anything that she writes from now on, because, again, another great person on social media. Like, I went ahead and, before even reading the book, there's a bookmark, I'm too lazy to grab it, and then also a little sticker, and then, again, a sweet note that says, "Thank you so much for your purchase, I really appreciate the support," and literally, little things like that, like you buy something from the author's website and they give you a handwritten note. Like, I refuse to garbage this piece of paper, so it lives inside the book. But also love supporting queer authors, and Lou is a queer author, so, like, when in doubt, always gonna support queer authors. So yeah. And then the final author, which is one that I debated between which list to put her on, and that is Jennifer L Armentrout. I do not own any of her books, but I've only read the 3 books, how many is that? I've only read the 3 books in the Blood and Ash series so far, and the 3 books of Wicked. So I've only read 6 of her books, and she's published like 30. That's why I feel like I cannot put her as a favorite, as I've only really read her fantasy books. I haven't read any of her sci-fis, like I think it's the Origin series, for example, is I think a little bit of sci-fi, or I haven't read any of her like contemporary books. So I'm like, is she really a favorite, or is she just a favorite fantasy? I do plan on continuing reading more of her books, but yeah, I'm not sure when, I'm not sure how many, I'm not sure which one is going to be my next pick, but I feel like if I read, like, I'm going to say I need to read at least like 1 more entire series to call her a favorite author. That's if I give them all like 4 to 5 stars, because most of these books in this video I did give 5 stars. A few of them I gave like 4 or 4.5, but even then it's like a 4 star is still a really high rating. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know who your favorite authors are, who your potential favorite authors are, who are authors you think I will enjoy based on this list. I love hearing what authors I should read and pick up books, because who knows, somebody could comment an author or a book and I could end up loving it and they could be my favorite author. I really hope you enjoyed this video. My throat's pretty much giving out because I've been like filming for the last like half an hour, but I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!